You're listening to the Droematic Show podcast.
All right, welcome back to the Droematic Show podcast. You're here with Droematic and my special guest today, Laura Davis, and my boy Reese. Guys, what's going on?
Nothing much. How about you?
I can't complain for a Friday night. And Laura, I'm just surprised at you. Like, you didn't tell me that you had like all this experience. Like, we've been in the same studio for like the last 12 months. You've been going around real slow. And I never knew you had a radio voice. How long have you been doing radio?
Well, I started, of course, with radio through music, and the guy Tim Flanagan, he's out of Murfreesboro. He had a radio show, and he's like, "Well, he said you don't really get too nervous." He said, "We would love to have you up here on the radio show," and so he had me going every Friday for about 4 months, and then I had an internship with the studio, so I had to.
So what type of radio show was it?
The segment I was on was the morning show, and that was basically just kind of covering news, weather, funny news. I think our favorite segment was the Funny Criminals.
Funny Criminals?
Yeah, that was fun. And then, of course, getting to pick the music for the morning, so that was pretty cool to be able to set the mood for the day.
How early did you have to get up for that?
I had to get up probably around 5:45 to be there, because it took me about an hour and 10 minutes to get there every morning.
Holy cow, and you did an intern for that?
Oh, yeah.
For how long?
I'd say probably 4.5, 5 months. And did it every week, and I look forward to it, but then schedules kind of, you get and started doing music and stuff, and I just could not make that trip back and forth every week like that. I hear you. So. But it was fun, though. I thoroughly enjoyed it.
Well, Laura, I'm glad to finally have you on the show here. Like, you're going to be our local guitar specialist, so we're going to get into that a little bit later. Reese, what's going on?
What's going on, people? How you doing?
How you been, man? It's been a minute since we had time to really just sit down and talk to each other.
I've been doing good, man. Just working and, just trying to live, man. To, survive, live life.
Okay. You still in the music thing?
Yeah, I still do a little bit of the music.
And for most of our audience that don't know, they know a little bit about my music background. Maurice, we actually went to the studio one time, but I'm not for sure if he just did early retirement or what. When was the last time you actually went to the studio? Have you done that in years, or just doing like the dad life right now?
Oh, man, it's been a while, man. But, still do a little freestyle here and there. Not really making any albums or anything like that right now, but definitely wouldn't be nothing to get back into.
Okay, that's cool, man, because I want you to really just start doing this Friday night show with us, man, this hip-hop Friday night show. So hopefully you'll like this experience, man, and start to come back a little bit more.
Oh, for sure. Definitely, most definitely.
And I know a lot of you, our listeners, you guys want us to talk more about music over the last few weeks. You felt like we were doing more social issues rather than talking about music. So that's why I actually invited Laura to come on to the show. She's one of the best guitarists in the Eastern North Carolina area. So she's going to spend a few weeks with us, basically talking about, just getting beginners to really learn how to use the guitar. So, Laura, I'm going to start with you. How long have you actually been playing the guitar?
I started playing when I was 9 years old. Let's see, I'm 23, and I ain't too good at math.
So you're 23?
Yes, yeah.
And you started playing at 9 years old. Yeah. How'd you get into it? Like, did your dad just bring home a guitar one day, or what happened?
Well, both of my grandparents on both sides, my daddy's parents and my mama's parents, they both played guitar. And my daddy's dad, Buck Davis, he played in a band and went and recorded in Nashville. And he played guitar, but he was mostly a singer. My mama's daddy was, he plays by ear. He plays a lot like I do. And I thoroughly enjoyed growing up and being around them with music, and so I kind of wanted to start playing. My daddy played, and for Christmas they got me a guitar.
See, I never knew that about playing by ear. Like, we learned the keyboard, the piano, the guitar. What does that really mean, play by ear?
I have always played by ear, and it kind of means I can't read a lick of music.
You can't read a lick of music?
I cannot read it. I was in piano lessons.
9 years old up until 23 right now.
I can't do it. I play by whatever I hear is how I figure it out. I listen to it and go home and pick it apart and kind of go from there. And whatever I hear is how I play it. So yeah.
Wow, that's a little bit different. So if you hear a song on the radio, like within like a couple of hours, you feel like you can just pick it up just like that?
Yeah, usually I can finish the song out. I just kind of just go with it. I don't know. It's something about a flow with me with it. I love it. And
what do you mean the flow? Explain that to them.
I know for me, when I'm listening to music and I'm getting ready to learn music, I have got to play with it. And I don't know why. It's kind of odd, but it's like I interpret it that way. And that's how I just play by ear. I pick up the guitar while the song's playing, and I just get into it, and I just figure it out. My brain's a little backwards when it comes to stuff like that. But that's how I've always played.
How many guitars do you own?
Well, I have a couple of electrics. I have 3 of those. I have a dobro, I have acoustic bass, and then a classical 12-string acoustic guitar.
How many different guitars are there out there?
Oh gosh.
Like, I was doing some research when I was playing my dad's like 2 weeks ago, and I was like, well, how many different types of guitars are there?
There's a lot.
And I mean, it's a lot, like, you know, from electric to acoustic, like they were just naming so many different things. But some of the legends, Jimi Hendrix, who are some of who inspire you?
It's kind of odd. It's completely opposite ends, but I first started on acoustic guitar, and that my biggest influence, and still to this day, is Alison Krauss Union Station. And their guitarist, Ron Block, was the one that really turned my ear into listening to music. And he plays a lot of acoustic stuff, but it's really technically challenging because it's not like basic chords.
What do you mean?
It's like, I don't know how to see. It's not your typical just like A, D, G songs. It's just these weird, not weird, but these different chords. It's got like a melodic sense to it. It just kind of follows the song. And then my other guitar favorites are definitely Prince is one of them. And I like Nancy Wilson from Heart.
I swear, if you just scroll down your Facebook page, all you see is just Prince. I'm like, I'm trying to learn something about you, but I see nothing but Prince. A t-shirt of Prince.
Yeah, I have a friend of mine. It's kind of a joke between us. We're bandmates, and we're both obsessed with his music, and so we're constantly posting stuff so one of us can see and keeping up. That's why but my favorite band's Alison Krauss Union Station, but they're not mainstream, so you don't really see a lot of their stuff.
And see, that's why I created the show, because of the independent scene.
Yeah,
like, we want to support all the independent artists. Like, independent music, I can't stress enough how much people need to support the independent scene.
And they're signed. I mean, they're big, but it's just not the mainstream radio type. And it just, I don't know. I've kind of always been drawn to that. It's kind of always been the way.
Your current band, like, who did they recruit you, or what? Tell me a little bit about that.
The current band I'm in a duo and a band. The band that I am in currently used to be part of the Carolina Beach Club, and they played for 30 years, and they retired with that because beach music was not as popular as some of the songs we're doing now. But I'm playing with a group with Brent Bennett, Ronnie Kirkman, Rhonda Bennett, and myself. And they asked me, they were like, well, we've done a couple of shows, and they're like, well, we really like your style of playing or whatever, and just kind of got together, and it started from there, and we do a lot of covers. I'm hoping we can get into some originals, but we're basically a cover band as of right now.
Cover band.
But the duo I'm in is with a woman named Ann Meadows, and she's from Edenton, although she lives, I think, in Jackson now. But we do a lot of originals, and we play different styles. We just love it. Like, I've got a show her tomorrow night, and we're more creative in that band.
So how did you guys link up? Were you guys just performing that somewhere?
Yes. I was currently with a rock band called 7100 about a year and a half ago, and we played a festival in Woodland, Lewiston area. And she was one of the only other females that played, and she brought out her 12-string.
12-string?
Beautiful 12-string. Oh my goodness. And she brought it out, and she's like, hey, I like your music or whatever. And we just kind of hit up. And at the time, I actually turned her down.
Why'd you turn her down, Laura?
Because I was so
You're just so full
busy.
of yourself?
No.
Is that what it was?
No. But I was just so busy with everything else. Because when I was in the rock band, I was traveling like an hour and a half every Wednesday and putting in 4 hours at night, coming back and forth, going to Virginia and practicing.
Oh, wow.
But then once we kind of went separate ways, me and her picked up. And then from there, we've just been doing gigs over and over again.
Cool. And that's my next thing I want to talk about. Like, I guess, like, for the beginning guitarists, how can they pick up more local gigs? Like, what's the key to actually getting yourself out there to just, just start playing live?
Playing everywhere, no matter if it's on this, like if you're on the street and just passing people, or festivals, or even just coffee shops, anywhere you can get your name in, you never know who's going to come up to you. You just start meeting people. The more places you play, then you start kind of getting a feel for what you like to do as far as music. And I think it kind of puts you in the direction of where you want to go musically speaking. And either...
How so?
I know for me, it kind of put me... I had played so long in my bedroom and house stuff because I was so shy. That was my biggest thing I've had to get past.
Right.
And I didn't want to go out and play. I was terrified.
How old were you when you played your first gig?
Well, I was 9, but it was like I was kind of...
Are you kidding me?
No, I was 9, and but I was
like a little Star Search kid.
But I was kind of in the shadows of my grandparents and daddy and stuff, so you didn't really have all that attention. But definitely, you have to start playing at every place you can get, and it starts to build up, and then you start kind of getting your name out there, and like I said, it kind of puts you in the direction you want to go, whether or not you want to play live or not, but definitely playing everywhere.
So what would you tell the people that have that anxiety of playing in front of people? Like, what's the best way to overcome that?
Find music that when you play, you don't have to think about. It just comes naturally to you. And then you're not thinking about that. You're just playing, and it kind of calms you down. I know for me, when I used to play music, which I've had to play more stuff, different variety of things since I work at the studio now. But prior to that, I played, like I was mentioning, Alice Krauss a lot. And I just kind of fell into that, and because I loved it so much, I performed it well. It flowed. Mm-hmm. And I know for one thing, when I have play with people and they're getting in different genres and they're kind of unsure, that's when they start to psych themselves out because they're not used to that type of music, and you can see them kind of freak out. And I'm kind of like, just kind of go with the flow with it, just kind of pick something you love and practice your craft. I mean, it's definitely practicing and playing everywhere.
Why didn't you pick up a mentor, like, I guess towards like your teen years?
Well,
I felt like that would have helped you out if you had just got somebody to just put you under their wing. And
I kind of always looked for that, but like I said, I just kind of was so not social. Nobody kind of really knew anything. My grandparents...
Again, full of yourself, right? Standoffish. Yeah.
No, it's more like being in the corner about to be sick. It's like, don't notice me, I'm good.
Yeah.
But no, you kind of get used to the idea of people watching, and I used to psych myself out. I used to play, and I'd get so nervous, I'd start thinking. And the moment I started thinking is the moment I started messing up. And that was kind of like, you just got to tune everything else out. You're playing that song. When you're playing that song for those 3 minutes, you need to be committed to that song. But
I'm thinking to myself, though, aren't you trying to make the audience feel what you're feeling, though? That's what I was thinking if you're doing that focus.
Yeah, I know for me, the more I get into the music and the more I get into it, the more the audience does. And I'm kind of odd when it comes to this. Most people kind of, when they're playing, they're like, make eye contact with the crowd, bring them in. Well, I found that with me, I don't know why with me, but when people come up to me and they're like, well, we really get into music when you get into the music. And so it's like you just playing with your eyes shut, you're just playing, and you kind of feed off of that energy.
Yeah.
I know for me, when I've watched bands and stuff play, that's what I look for. It's the energy of what they've got playing. I'm kind of rattling off, but... No,
you're good. You're good, Laura.
It's hard to talk about yourself.
No, you're good. That's what you're on the show for, to help somebody else out. I guess another... an opportunity for a young person. You say like coffee shops and things like that. I mean, what if they're in like a real rural area where they don't even have that type of opportunity? Because we're in a real rural area part of North Carolina, so.
I guess in this day and time you can make videos and post. I've never really gone with that approach.
Why haven't you done that? Because I know we were talking a couple of months ago. We were talking about like the promotional thing. You're just saying you were just so old school. But why haven't you gotten more into social media?
Idea how to do any of that. I am so clueless when it comes to stuff like that.
You're a 23-year-old, Laura.
I know, but I am not talented with it. I'm terrible at stuff like that.
Just the technical aspect of it?
Technical aspect of it. That and trying to market stuff, the business side of it.
Yeah.
Because I always get so nervous that someone will think that if I'm trying to market stuff and do stuff like that, they're like, oh, well, she's full of it or whatever, and it just, I don't know, I kind of just...
But I guess once you actually start learning to wing the social media thing, you're going to start doing a little bit
Definitely, yeah. I'm starting to pick up on it a lot faster and more because I'm spinning requested now, and it's kind of like I got to do it.
Yeah, you got to do it.
But yeah,
definitely got to do it. What are you planning on doing this year? Like, what's your main goal? We were talking about getting a CD out there, so what's going on with that?
I am currently, I don't think I told you this the last time I spoke to you. I've actually been producing out there at Ted's studio, the Music Box studio.
See, you just told me too many secrets.
And I actually produced 2 songs that I wrote all the music to, and I wrote all the lyrics, and I played everything on it, minus the drums in some areas. But I have been working on some producing out there, and I'm also producing my own album or CD. And I'm hoping to be able to get them by October of this year.
How many songs have you already gotten down so far?
I have got 3 or 4 that just kind of have to be mixed. They're kind of in the rough tracks. Like they've got all the ideas there basically, but it's a matter of just kind of really putting the studio flair to it, you know?
Yeah.
But the most recent work I have actually done was a woman named, I don't know if you've ever heard of her, Nanette Garrett.
Is she a local?
She's from Washington. She was in a rock band called Garrett. They've been nominated a couple of times from the North Carolina Music Awards.
Oh, nice.
And currently they are nominated this year. The lead singer, Nanette, she's nominated for Rock Female Vocalist of the Year. And
Nice.
Ted, who runs that studio, you know him, I know him, he kind of brought up to me, he's like, do you have any songs that she could do? Or whatever. And her voice is like Ann Wilson from Heart.
Oh, really?
Yes, and so I was like, all right, I know what direction to go to. And so I pulled the song off I had written a couple years ago, and I'm like, she could nail it. So I'm hoping to get that one on my CD too as a bonus because it was so much fun recording it. And but like I said, October is about the time I want to be able to get my.
I mean, are you planning on working with any other producers, or are you just going to do everything yourself for the production
So
side
far,
of it?
I've done everything myself. I love the producing just as much as I do playing. I love all of it. And so I love producing like I love just playing. It's 2 different arts, but I love both equally for different aspects.
Yeah, producing is really cool. And Maurice, have you ever done any production, man, or have you just been flowing like these last couple of years?
Nothing major, no production. Just kind of like flowing the last couple years.
We was talking about the how anticipated we was about that Nas album coming out. Who are some of your favorite rappers right now at this point that you're keeping in your?
Of course, it's still Jay-Z.
Still big on Jay-Z.
Still big on Jay-Z. Still one of the greatest that I think. Anyway,
You still feel like Jay-Z is the greatest of all time.
yeah.
Let me ask you something, man. Who won that battle all those years ago, Nas or Jay-Z? I think we argued about that at one point when we were younger.
I would have to say Jay-Z, of course.
You felt like Jay-Z won?
Yeah, I feel like Jay-Z won.
And see, I want to argue with you about that, but Jay-Z, he actually did. He killed Nas for that. I think we're probably the only few people that actually believe that Jay-Z actually you beat Nas in that battle, but he definitely did that.
Oh yeah.
Who else you been paying attention to? Some of that new school?
I can't really get with some of the new school because we came from a different era.
Yeah.
A lot of rap nowadays is a lot of mumble rap.
Is that what they call it? The mumble rap?
Call it the mumble rap. The hibba-da.
Yeah.
I can't. You know what I'm saying? It's alright, but I can't really get with it. I'm kind of old school. And back in the Jay-Z, Young Jeezy, Snoop and them boys, back when you can understand the lyrics.
When you can actually understand what's going on, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just, man, the rap game is so different these days. Like, I mean, just music in general. You just turn on the radio, things are just like my ears, like, I don't know what's going on. Like, whether it's pop, country music, rap, hip hop, it's just like everything is just, well, countries is probably about the same, but
I think it's a little mixture of rap and singing mixed all in one.
Yeah. We need somebody that's going to take it back to the roots. And I'm trying to think of any new rappers right now at this point that can actually just bring it back to like the original art form, that had people appreciative of it.
Right.
But it's just now, man, it's just your whole this and, drugs this and everything. And it's just, it's weird, man. It's no substance. No more substance.
Younger generation is taking over, trying to take over a new movement that some of us older guys are not used to.
Well, you know what though, Reese, as I look at, we're in our 30s now, and when we start listening to rap, you think about our parents, how they, when we was just like, taking us raised in church and things like that, and then we come home and play the music and things like, y'all listen to this and that. I mean, it's totally different from when they listen to like Marvin Gaye and some of the old school guys back in the day. And they say, hip hop was probably just strange to them, but so I guess it's just history kind of repeats itself because we're doing the same old things. Right. I know the things my daughter listens to is just weird, man.
That's the good thing about music is it all travels just like life in circles. So if it's not
right
popular now, if you wait about another 10 years, it'll come back around and you'll start hearing it, and that'll be the new thing.
Exactly. What genre do you put your music in, Laura?
Oh gosh, some of everything.
You actually play some of everything?
Oh yes, I love all types of music. All types of music. I love all of it. There's not a certain style that I like the best.
Well, I mean, your first album though, like, what do you think is?
It's some of everything. I have classic rock. I have pop. I have country, bluegrass.
Got bluegrass in there?
Of course. I've got some of everything. Everything that's inspired me is kind of what's made this album do that, because I wanted to kind of do a song for each genre that I really liked, and that's
that's gonna be cool. That's gonna be cool. So what else you been up to, Reese, man? I know, like I said, we haven't been talking in a couple of years, man, but we really basically met each other on talking about music. What you doing these days, man? How's the single life and the single dad life going on? How you enjoying that?
It is what it is, man. You learn to be accustomed to the lifestyle, and you just try to be the best parent, try to be the best person you can be.
What's that feeling like, man, when you look at your daughter and she looks at you and, she just gives you that smile, man? Like, how does that make you feel as a dad?
I mean, it's a good thing, man. It's a wonderful thing. It's life. I look at her and it gives me more reason to keep pushing on in life. You know what I'm saying? Make you want to do better.
Yeah.
Because, you want the best for your children.
How has things changed since she's actually been like a part of your life? Like, have you noticed anything different about yourself? Like, do you carry yourself a little bit differently, or do you just look more towards the future? Or
just a little bit more differently. When you become a parent, you gotta become more responsible.
Mm-hmm.
And you just try to think positive, do the right things. And try to stay out of trouble, because trouble can come to you.
How much pressure is it on being a single dad? Like, how much pressure is that?
It's a little pressure, especially when you have a daughter.
Yeah.
And if you don't have a great support system, as a father, you would like to have a woman figure for your daughter.
Yeah.
There's certain things that dads can't do with daughters that a woman can.
Exactly.
And vice versa.
And then, some of the single parents, whether it's like a mom or a dad, grandparents play such a huge role sometimes in the family stature. So your parents are pretty much involved as much as they possibly can be with your daughter, right?
Oh yes. She got a grandfather and a grandmother in her life,
mm-hmm.
as well as her auntie. So her grandmother and her auntie are kind of like, the female role models.
Yeah, that's cool.
Right now.
That's cool.
I mean, her mother is still around, but when it's daddy and daughter time and I need their help, from a woman's or a girl perspective,
she goes and the mom,
auntie and grandma.
Does your sister? Does she have kids?
Yes, my sister. She has a 23-year-old son.
Oh, she got a 23-year-old.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's cool, man. Like, just don't expect us the way we used to run back in the day, man. And then just now our responsibilities is, the parenthood thing. Like, that's so cool. Laura, are you excited about? Are you ready to have kids? Do you want to have kids?
Probably not in this decade. I'd like to get my feet planted first.
I hear you.
Then bring another child up, and I can't give the child what it needs at this point.
Are you the only child?
Oh no, I've got I have a younger sister.
Oh, you got a younger sister.
Oh, yeah.
Oh wow, is she into music also?
She is. She's not as nuts about it as I am, but she likes music, and her.
Are you trying to push it on her, Laura?
No, the grandparents did. She's like, I don't want to do it anymore. We used to sing a lot, and she's got a set of lungs on her, but she just doesn't enjoy it. It doesn't really
I mean, do you think it'll just like the family traditional jump on her at some point?
I don't know. She's her biggest thing is she is a little she is mentally disabled, and she's got cerebral palsy, and that's kind of been a big music has been an outlet, but also it's kind of been a struggle in a lot of ways. But no, she but she does love music, and she actually got to sing with Steven Tyler in Salinas, California.
You gotta tell me that story.
Oh gosh, we had backstage.
Steven Tyler, the singer, right?
Steven Tyler from Aerosmith.
Wow.
We went to California, Salinas, and it was actually like on a rodeo area where you ride bulls and horses and stuff. And they turned it into like a huge, concert place. I don't know what the right word would be. But anyway, it was outdoors, but we had meet and greets. And Sarah had a card because he just had a birthday.
Right.
And so they let her, we got to meet him or whatever, and he's like, "What's your favorite song?" And she told him.
How did y'all come up to him so close? Like, he didn't have any type of security or anything with him?
No, you had to go through security. You couldn't bring nothing. You had to put yourself, they almost didn't let her bring her card in. I mean, you had to go through, like, the airport stuff. I mean, the metal detectors and everything.
Right.
But they noticed she could not walk that well because she was in a wheelchair. And Steven Tyler they treated us very nice.
That was cool.
And we had one that already had seats that were like, the catwalk that they typically have.
Yeah.
And so like you have the stage, and there's like this little corner between the stage and the catwalk.
Yeah.
We were sitting on the second row. They wanted to put us on stage, but we were like, well, we got seats that are actually seeing you better. But he comes out with the microphone, drops the microphone down, and Sarah sings the first part of Ragdoll out of all the songs. That's the one before she.
Did she know who Steven Tyler was?
Oh, that's her idol.
Oh, Steven Tyler.
Loves Aerosmith.
Now that's a dream come true.
Oh yeah.
When's the last time Aerosmith came out with an album? Have they came out with anything over the last, like any type of reunions or anything like that?
I know the latest thing I heard, which I could be wrong because I haven't kept up with it, but I remember Steven Tyler having a country album. But as far as Aerosmith, I don't know if they.
Steven Tyler actually came out with a country album. What was the name of that?
Oh gosh, that was probably about 7 years ago. That I can't think of the name of that. I can see the name of the darn CD, but I can't think of the name of it. But yeah, it was a solo album, and he did a bunch of songs. But see, Joe Perry, I could be wrong, but I think they're touring this year. I know that Joe Perry joined the Hollywood Vampires with Johnny Depp, and I think Alice Cooper was the other one. I know they went touring. Yeah. I don't know as far as Aerosmith put the CD out in the last couple of years. I don't think so, but I could be wrong. I'm not sure.
So, what did you think of the Carlos Santana album? Did you get a chance to listen to a few of those
Yes,
chords?
I listened to it. The one song that really stood out to me, and I cannot pronounce it to save my life, but it started with it was like a Y. Oh, it had this awesome guitar riff towards the end of the song that I thoroughly enjoyed. And then one of the songs up there, I think, was like Blue Skies. And the instruments were beautiful in that song.
I think you were talking about, and we should have got a Spanish interpreter for this, because I always got to put closed captions when I'm listening to any of the songs. But Yo Mi Lo Merezco, I felt like that one was okay, but I think I actually like which one was? I think it was Oye Este Me Canta. That one was actually pretty good. But he actually has some pretty good ones on here, man. But it's just, I don't know, like, I've been liking Carlos Santana, like, even when he first came out with that Maria song.
Yep.
Like, that was the first thing that just grabbed my attention from that point on. It was like, this really cool Mexican guy into hip-hop and was just hitting the chords. I was like, wow, who is this guy? And then I guess from that point on, just like, outside of just the hip-hop, I just started listening to him. I was like, man, this guy is a really, really talented guy.
He's like a jack of all trades when it comes to these different musics. You can just kind of pull them off, like, easily, just kind of fall right into it.
And what type of guitar does he actually use?
I couldn't tell you. I
mean, from like the sound of it, can you pretty much pick up on like?
Yes, he has a, and I don't know if I'm missing the question with this reply, but he's got a certain style when he plays. He likes to bend the strings a lot.
Now you gotta be a little bit more detailed about that.
Oh gosh,
bend the strings.
It's like, oh gosh. He plays a lot of songs on the high end of the guitar. He does a lot of leads, like on the bottom B and E string on a guitar. And he's just got the way he bends the string, it's like, it's his signature sound. I don't know how to pronounce it. This is where I grab the guitar in the studio and I'm like, this is what it is, because I can't get the words.
Right.
But it's
because
awesome.
You can't read music.
Yeah.
That's so strange to me. As talented as you are, you can't read music.
I got fired for that.
Wait, hold on. Let's back up for a second. What do you mean got fired?
I took piano lessons for 2 years. I hated it.
Who made you take piano?
My parents. They were like, if you got talent in music, they're like, just try piano. That's like your basic thing.
Well, if Prince is your idol, you know, I think he mastered
134
instruments or something like that.
Yeah. But I play the piano. I love playing the piano, but I did not like playing Mary Had a Little Lamb and stuff like that. And I would get my teacher to play it, and then she finally caught that I was basically cheating. The only thing I've ever cheated on.
Wow.
I couldn't figure the chords out.
So terrible.
But no, I just I feel.
So I mean, what did you get fired from exactly?
I wasn't practicing and I was playing by ear. She's like, if you're not going to learn the chords, I'm not going to show you. She's like, you're just listening to it. You're taking the easy way out. But I couldn't understand the chords. It kind of it stunted me in a lot of ways. It made me very confused because that kind of put me in the corner of I've got to play the song somehow someone else wrote it. You know, it kind of lost its personal touch in my opinion. I think when I play by ear, when people play by ear, the way they interpret the song is how they play the song, or they hear it, and it's like you bring your own style to it. When you're reading notes, you're reading someone else's notes, you know, and it's kind of like, it's like impersonal. I don't know if that's the right word.
Yeah, I never heard of it that way before, but that's a different aspect of actually going through that.
Yeah, I'm odd when it comes to stuff like that.
Wow. I can't believe, it's just a shock to me that you didn't know how to read music. Reese, have you ever played any instruments when you were in school? Were you in like the school band or anything, drums or anything like that?
No, I was more into sports.
Sports guy?
More into sports. Man.
What you play in high school? Football?
Basketball and football.
So Laura has went ahead and grabbed her guitar. Laura, I want you to teach some basic sex to some of those young beginners out there who really, really want to learn the guitar and really get started with their career. Can you just teach them just go over a few more things of a few sets that you would start off with? 7, 8, 9-year-olds just learn how to play.
Well, the first chord I won't teach because I had that one thrown on me and my fingers could not reach the chords. I don't know why my daddy thought that would be the right chord to teach me first. But I always, when I've had students in the past, I usually do a lot of the songs. I start them in the key of D, and so you got your basic. Hopefully, I'm staying tuned. Your basic D chord. Then you kind of have your change over to G. Oh, it's going out on me. That humidity outside.
So humidity affects the strings?
Oh yeah, humidity makes a show sound good or bad, and you just kind of hope it lands on the good. But anyway, G, and then the next chord would be A, and that's your basic major chords in the key of D. And a lot of songs are, just G, G, A, D. Then kind of when you go into your next lesson after you've learned that progression, you start adding kind of middle chords. That's what I like to call them because they lead up to the next chord, and most of the time those are seventh chords, which would be like you've got your D major, you've learned that, and to transfer your D into a G major, you would add a D7, which adds right into G. So. And then sometimes you can throw in an A7, which leads right back up into D. Kind of filler chords. Just basic. So, and once you get that down pat, most songs usually only have about 3 or 4 chords. It really depends on the genre.
So you mean a whole 3 to 4 minute song, you're only using 3 chords the entire time?
Most of the time you do. I know there, except for certain genres of music where you go from going to 3 chords to sometimes 10 or 11 chords. But for most standard songs, you typically just have 3 or 4 chords. And then you can throw in like a minor chord, which would be like, if you're in the key of D, your minor, which sounds so beautiful with these chords, I love minor chords, would be like a G minor. And it goes right back into D. But like most songs, like if you're learning country music is typically 3 or 4 chords, and even hip hop. When I've had to play that at the studio before, I've had to kind of play stuff that was off tempo, but it was still the same basic chords.
Same basic chords.
A lot of it. It's like the heartbeat of a song in a lot of ways. It's just the skeletal part of it. It's basic chords. Then when you start becoming fancy with stuff, you just kind of throw in other chords, like your G minor, and just these different chords. But most of the time, it's just 4 chords per song.
Okay, starting with the length of the chord itself.
Uh-huh.
Does it actually get deeper towards, the end portion of it, or like walk me through like the chord portion? Like that's the part I don't understand when I was actually playing like 2 weeks ago. Does it make a lighter sound as you start going up towards the upper part of the guitar?
Yes. It towards the end of the strings, like the bottom 3 strings, most of the time your guitars are going to be tuned low to high. So when you strum, it's low to high. And then when you're dealing with frets, which are the little areas between the 2 rods, the marker on your fretboard.
Show me that real quick.
Like these right here, 2 bars and the dot in the middle. That's a fret. And the farther you go to the left, the lower your song or your sound is going to get. The farther you go to the right, the higher it gets. And you start getting harmonics and stuff like that, and it just gets higher. But then once you get on the 12th fret, every time on a guitar, 12th fret is another octave. So it goes higher and higher until you just can't play anymore. But yeah, towards the left is low, towards the right is high, always.
What type of guitar is that?
This one that I'm currently playing is an Ovation. It's a lot like Nancy Wilson's from Heart's Ovation. So I was definitely drawn to that. And Ovations are known for their harmonics, and something like that. It rings out. But yeah, it's an Ovation. It's got the signature wings on the top and front of it. It's a good sounding guitar.
It sounds really good. So next thing I'm going to ask you to do is to play an original for about 2 minutes.
Okay.
And you want to sing something also?
Can I just play?
You can just play. The artist would probably like to hear you, but you can just play if you want. I'll let you off hook this time.
Can I tune it?
So while she's tuning that up, again, I want to thank you guys for listening in on the Droematic Show podcast with Laura Davis and my homeboy Reese. Reese coming through. He's going to be just learning today, so you guys, he'll be a little bit quiet for the remainder of the show, but once he gets into it, you guys, he's a hip-hop head, like, through and through. So, Reese, how you feeling, man?
Feeling pretty good, man. Just sitting here listening to these nice tunes on this guitar over here.
Yeah.
Trying to learn a few tips.
Hey, if you're down, I can give you a beat or something, you can freestyle.
Uh-oh. Look, she
Want to put me on the spot.
see how she talks cool. She country voice, but she talking cool.
I'm a fan of all music. I love stuff like that.
I know, Laura. I know you don't discriminate.
No, I love all of it. This is, I guess I'll just make one up on the spot with the chords that I just taught.
Let's hear it. I'm going to put a timer up for about 2 minutes. I want to hear like 2 minutes of it.
You just tell me when.
1 and the 2 and the 3 and the... I think I'm gonna give her 3 more minutes. And on that note, we're gonna go ahead and wrap it up, man. That was amazing. Like, if I had like the fake hand claps, I'm gonna just give her a hand clap on that.
Bravo,
This girl is amazing. You guys, when you check out our social media page, I want you guys to make sure you show love. Laura, if they want to reach out to you and any bookings or anything like that, how can they reach you?
They can reach me through Facebook or my cell phone. I pick up the either. Cell phone's probably the best thing.
She's old school, y'all. She's still on Facebook.
Hopefully Aaron will help, or you'll help me.
Yeah,
with
I will. I'm gonna help her out.
I need some help. But yeah, my cell phone. I mean, do you want to put that in the link, or do you want me to tell it, or what?
Yeah, you can tell it.
Well, my cell phone is 252-217-7685, and if you guys ever want to reach me, that's the number to reach me.
And your upcoming dates that you got planned soon, go ahead and spread those out.
I have a show tomorrow in Edenton. It's the Edenton, I think it's 51 House.
And you guys in the North Carolina area, that's actually Edenton, North Carolina.
And that is with Ann Meadows and our group Tanglewood. That's one. And then I have, I'm trying to think if it was AJ's or, no, excuse me, Bellhaven. I think it's the 29th of June. I'm not good without a calendar. With stuff.
All right, and guys, we'll get those dates out there, so don't worry about it. We'll have links and all that good stuff. But again, it was a really pleasure having you on here, Laura Davis. You gotta come back. You really gotta come back. We're gonna be producing this guitar series, so you guys just show the support, so Laura will see how good she actually did, and she'll come back and help me produce this guitar series that I'm looking forward to. And also, I want to thank my boy Reese for coming through. He was so quiet today, but I'm not gonna give him a hard time. He was just chilling, relaxing today. But in the up and coming weeks, we're gonna be doing a hip hop Friday night show. Hopefully, he'll be coming through with that and just spreading his knowledge on hip hop. Reese, if they want to get in touch with you, what's your Facebook and your social media handle?
You can always reach me on Facebook, Maurice Brown. Email maurice.brown70 at Yahoo. Or you can reach my cell phone number at 252-714-5880.
All right, cool. This has been another Droematic Show podcast, and we are signing out.
You've just listened to the Droematic Show podcast with your host, Droematic.